Financial plan, right, is only a plan. It's Excel sheet. Never gives you the confidence. Mine, I had taken to the extreme level. 12-year loan got finished in 7 years. My FI goal was driven by a fear of a physical disability. I want to be financially independent by the time I'm 50. This 50 has been there for a long, long time. I don't think I've done anything with my father's money that he would not approve. People will not believe it. I used to tell others also in my company, your PF will become crores.
Most important question, what is your total corpus today?
I am a you can keep it that way.
Proudly part of the 01 network by Zerodha.
Thank you so much for joining us. So why don't you first just introduce yourself in a few lines?
My name is Srinivasan and I am 50. Today is 2025, right? Yeah, 58 years. I was very clear that I want to be financially independent by the time I'm 50.
But why the clarity on retirement at 50?
I had polio when I was 18 months
Okay.
old. Polio comes when you're young and then it hits you again when you're 50. So that was kind of got etched in my mind.
Right.
I remember definitely telling before we got married, saying that I will not work long. I will 50. This 50 has been there, I would say, for a long, long time. But 2017 January, we decided that I am there. But the first factor I say as applies to is understanding spouse. So your spouse has to have, otherwise you will be cooked.
Correct.
She didn't say yes for me to retire, but she didn't say no either. But 17, we had decided that we are done.
What would you say your relationship with money was? How did you look at money in the growing years?
I would say it's a tool, right? It's something that we have to watch. So you can't hoard it, right? So you have to spend it for what you need. I don't think I've done anything with my father's money that he would not approve of. And I remember this one conversation, I was young, 17. We had gone to a place and then people had eaten a lot. And I said, no Dutch, right? I will go, whatever I ate, I will pay that way, right? And then after that, this guy was saying, he's a very nice person. Even now, he's actually a writer. He said, you're a good boy, but not a good man. And I remember telling him, if I'm living on my father's money, I have to be a boy only, right? Only when I earn my own money,
Right.
then I can put my own fund up because my father is not very rich. See, academically, I'm doing much better than these people, but
Right.
people have more money than me. That's okay. So that life is never equal, right?
If you could maybe give us some insight into the progression of your career over the ages, where you started working and how did your salary also progress through the changes you've made?
I started working in 1988. The first salary was 2,000. So 92, I went to the US. First US salary, $53,000. And then I had changed within US just because I want to live in California. Right? And that is where all the software jobs are. So then I switched the job, but that was basically for the location, so not for the salary. And in 98, we came back. And the first company I joined was a company called Cybercash. At that time, if I remember, my first salary, 7.5, I think, that was a CTC. And 2000 November, I joined HP. That CTC was 13 lakhs at that time. And I ended my career in Hewlett-Packard.
How did your savings evolve? If you could maybe tell us how much you would be able to save in the beginning, how your savings evolved once you came back.
Saving, I used to do some savings, but I also used to have this thing that when you're young, you have to enjoy the life also, right? Not that I will just throw away money, but I used to spend on things. So,
Right.
for example, but when we went to Niagara Falls, I was very clear. We are seeing it from Canada. I remember we went to Canada, saw Niagara Falls, then we came to the US side, and my wife was telling, this is like, why are people settling for this, right? It looks much better. Just giving that as an example. So,
Right.
obviously, it's a once in a lifetime experience. No point in saving $300. I could have saved far more when I was in the US. I would say my story is basically a made in India story only.
So when you finally did leave the US around 98, you said that was, what would your corpus be looking like at that point in time?
So 99 corpus net worth must have been negative. In my hand, what I had access to must have been about less than $10,000, right? And that went into the down payment for the home in India. Bought another home in 2006. The home loan looks like an overdraft account. So I've had that account and I used to keep money parked there. So that was my debt corpus.
Right.
So that way there is 20-30 lakhs always parked in that amount. They treat the home loan as an overdraft. Right. So let's take that specific example, the second home. The loan was 49, let's keep it 50 lakhs. So 50 lakhs is that limit. So you're paying the EMI. EMI is set at 50 lakh, whatever you have to be repaid. But you have kept 10 lakh in the balance. So when you pay the next EMI, so they say 40 lakhs is the outstanding loan.
Right.
So correspondingly, I will charge the interest. The rest of the EMI will go towards the principal. So you end up paying principal faster. So 10 lakhs I will keep as cash, right? I keep it in this account. If needed, I can withdraw. Mine, I had taken to the extreme level. I had changed it to HSBC. So this was my salary account. So the salary goes into the overdraft account, right? By the time even that month, I'd actually worked out that I had saved almost 500 to 1000 rupees of interest every month just by keeping the salary, right? I spent the salary, right? Because it goes to investments and all the stuff.
Right.
But it takes some time. So even the few days, they start adding. So you end up paying the loan out much faster. I think the 12-year loan got finished in 7 years.
So now let's come to the numbers part. Most important question. What is your total corpus today?
I am a dollar millionaire, right? If you can keep it that way. There is an accredited investor,
Right,
SEBI.
right.
So I can be an accredited investor even on my Indian assets. But I always used to say that your retirement corpus depends on your situation. My FI goal was driven by a fear of a physical disability. 2002, my daughter was born, and 2003, for beginning, my wife was pregnant again. So that time, I knew that things were in place. I would say 2003 is when I really did the full calculations, and that is basically the start of the planned journey. Otherwise, the desire was always there. 2004 November, we had estimated 5 and 6 crores. In 2021 beginning, I should have had 5 to 6 crores to meet that. When you make a plan, you estimate in that year number.
Correct.
Then inflate it. Otherwise, you can't imagine what it
Right.
will be. The lifestyle inflation can hit you.
Right.
And it hits you subtly. People talk about it, how did I get into this personal finance, right? I used to tell others also in my company, your PF will become crores. People will not believe it.
Right.
Said, because I'm putting some 5,000, 10,000 per month, and where does it become crores? But that's just where compounding works. My PF would have been 1.45 crores or whatever. It was 1.4 crores. That way,
Wow.
it was on target. So that's a big part. I practice that the next 10 to 15 years, if you can afford it, be in debt. Which means once you have retired, it comes to actual 10, 15 years. If you're working, your salary pays for that 10 years. So that way you don't have to have so much in debt. My PF came out in August 2019 and I had put it in debt, that entire amount. And by 2020 March, because of the COVID fall in equity, and I had a bit more risky equity at the time, right? More volatile equity, my entire corpus come down by 33%. But even at that level, I had the next 10 years of expenses covered in debt. So that gave the sleep, right? And that for me, 10 years includes my children's college and all that stuff. If I had not kept that much in debt, if I had kept it in equity, then I would have pulled out the rest of my hair. Not that I have much now. You pay a bit on returns,
Right.
but you get sleep and peace of mind.
The main expenses which people usually will calculate for is kids' education, kids' marriage, stuff like that. Did you plan for both the kids in one go? Did you sort of develop it and build it? How did it evolve as well?
Financial plan, right, is only a plan. It's Excel sheet. Never gives you the confidence. In 2004 numbers, 8 lakhs for college for each child, 15 lakhs for PG. That was the estimate. So in 2023, it would have cost about 30 lakhs. For my daughter, I would have spent probably 1/4 of the planned expense. And for my son, it was 4 times the planned expense.
If you have to sort of put it in a way where how did you decide your wealth growth?
Without equity, you cannot grow your wealth, right?
Right.
You can only maintain your wealth.
Right.
Debt should be part of the corpus. For me, I was lucky that EPF was a big part, so I could rely on it. But after later, then I used to have other debt investments also, something under my control. So I had written down, right, what would be the expense, what will be the corpus, how much will we withdraw. So that is based on it. There is one thing that some things just appeal to Indians, right? One is gold. The other is some kind of a pension, right? So that is probably what we are, very used to. And we feel that, SWP gives that pension comfort, right?
Right.
Oh, every month I am getting some money. But SWP is not very practical for most cases because your income, your expense needs are not regular monthly. For me, my health insurance itself is 50,000 rupees a year. And that comes in 1 month. I would rather take a more flexible approach of estimating a yearly expense. Yearly expenses are better because on a year, they are reasonably stable. Take it out from your corpus, keep it in the bank and spend it during the year, right? Repeat the process every year.
So if you had to point out 3 learnings you had in this FI journey of yours, what would those be?
First is being very clear with your spouse about the plan, right? And saying understanding spouse, keeping them on board. Then having a plan, right? Having a plan, you knowing where you're going, what your target is, what you're doing to it. And third would be that once the investments are on, not sweating the expenses, right? So the investments are going on, keep reviewing it, be happy that you're on track.
Hey, if you think you resonate with these stories and you think you have one worth sharing too, then please fill in the form in the pinned comments below and you can get featured on Wint Wealth.